Hey everyone, it's Ace. Welcome back to another video. Yesterday, because of this leak, we all went a little bit ballistic on EA DICE because this leak suggested that there might not be server browser in Battlefield 6, which is of course something we don't want to deal with. And today as I woke up, I'm a bit more level-headed and I asked myself a question: what do I really want from a server browser when it comes to the gameplay aspects? What is the one thing I use the server browser for in the old Battlefield games? And as somebody who has played Battlefield 3 and BF4 for thousands and thousands of hours, the main thing I use those things for is I want to pick a map I want to play on, I want to pick a game mode I want to play on, and I want to see how many people are on the servers. Basically, quality of life things. I never truly much cared about custom settings in, a server browser server. I don't care if the damage is higher or lower or if there's any, the minute things that usually the custom servers would change for themselves. So as a gameplay part, this is what I use the server browser for. Well over a decade has now passed since those games have been in their prime, and today we deal with matchmaking systems from games like Call of Duty, Delta Force, and Battlefield 2042. It's kind of crazy to me actually that those systems, the matchmakings, haven't really improved from the initial first time I've actually seen it in these massive games like in the first Call of Duty. You still cannot pick a map in those systems. You cannot even pick a ping. Sometimes those servers will launch you across the world because of SBMM or EOMM or systems that they have in place to, organize the lobbies, and so everything is quotation marks fair. You don't even have such basic controls over very important things, I would say. You also cannot see how many people are on the server. In many cases, for example, you cannot even pick a game mode. So if DICE has improved this and their matchmaker, as they were claiming, is better than Battlefield 2042 and it's gonna be different, if I can pick a map, if I can pick a ping I want to play on, and if I can see how many players are in the lobby, then I'm a little bit less condemning of it, let's call it that way. Because as I mentioned earlier, these are the main things I use the server browser for. So if I can see those three things, those would be like the big three things I care about in matchmaking. But Battlefield 2042 has been out now for how many years? Since 2021? A lot of years, guys. And, they've never added those basic needs for a player in their matchmaking system that they had in that game. So this is the one thing that makes me concerned about the matchmaking now. If they haven't done it before, why would they do it now exactly? For who, People still played Battlefield 2042. Many people bought microtransactions in Battlefield 2042. I know it sounds pathetic, but they really did, So what real initiative they have here to push something different for the matchmaking compared to Battlefield 2042. This is like my main concern about their matchmaking, that they're not gonna allow us to have these three basic things. Unfortunately, however, of course, Battlefield is definitely falling prey to the modern gaming trends like matchmaking and all the systems. And I think it's just, now that we have a leak suggesting this, I think it's definitely a time we do have to maybe say farewell to server browsers. I don't think it's coming, guys. They're not gonna give it to us. They're gonna give it in Portal, like I mentioned in this video yesterday. I'm gonna leave a link to this video on the screen from yesterday where I really went on them about the server browser, and there I mentioned Portal. Portal is definitely here a culprit, in my opinion, that's definitely killed the server browser as well for the main multiplayer game. There's definitely a massive division here that EA and DICE have created. They're saying, okay, we have people who want to play multiplayer and we're just going to slam the Call of Duty and Delta Force systems there because those worked for us in Battlefield 2042, I guess. All the other games have it. And for this, vocal but minority player base, these Portal people who want to, sit on their stomachs and play, I don't know, Golmud Railway, 4,000 tickets on 3,100% damage and disable half the vehicles and half the weapons, we just have Portal, and then the rest of us who don't use server browser for those things, like the people on Golmud, have to unfortunately endure the very barbaric matchmaking systems. I'm telling you right now, if Portal didn't exist, I think the server browser would have been a bigger concern for them for the main multiplayer mode. I hate to say it that way, but I really believe that's the case here. Because think about it, Portal came with Battlefield 2042, this is when we got matchmaking. This is when they, I think, tried to segregate people who really are the server browser players from the people who just don't care and want to get in matches as fast as possible. And now that we know that Portal's coming back, they're going to try to do the same thing here. So can it work gameplay-wise if there is no server browser but we have those three things? Yes, it can work. It will work, of course. But I want to focus your attention on the screen right now. What you're seeing is a thumbnail of my video about Backlog I made months and months ago when I was just starting out again. And I will, of course, leave a link to that video in this video's description. But that right there is us on that thumbnail. It's us who are the real victims of not having a community, and server browsers do form communities, guys. It's just how it is. Think about all the clients that were hosting their servers, but all the even individual people who were hosting their servers, they had their platoons. We could go there, we could leave them a message, we could shit talk them. In Battlefield 3, you could even become a fan of other people's platoons, and we got to know these people through server browser, you know? We went on their servers, we played their servers, we, I don't know, either annihilated them or they annihilated us, whatever. I'm just rifling through examples here. But we formed some type of bonds. Before, Backlog had a cap for 100 friends you can have like as a limit. The friend request limit was at 100. It is no exaggeration, guys, and I'm very, very sad I don't have the screenshot of that anymore. It was almost 15 years ago. I had well over 3,000 friend requests on Origin alone of people who knew me from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 2 because I was a big competitive player back in the day on Europe, won multiple tournaments in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. And people just wanted to get in touch with me, and I couldn't accept everybody because Backlog friend limit was put to 100. So they were just sitting there on my Origin, and that was the first time I saw some limitations to our community. Of course, I understand we cannot have 3,000 friends. I get it, okay? But we lost something when they removed Backlog. We lost a little bit when they removed the server browser in, Battlefield 2042. So as a community, we just keep losing pieces and pieces of what made Battlefield Battlefield. And it's us, Yes, they created the game, but they didn't make the game. We make the game what it was. We made the game successful. And I still believe that we did it through massive communities that were binded through server browser and Backlog. And now it is almost certain we're not going to get server browser. So what is really left of us here? We're going to play in this super isolationist type matchmaking systems for the end of time without any friends or any pals or any communities or any type of touch with other humans. Is this the future of video games? Just coming back from work and just ignoring everybody, jumping on your matchmaking game and pumping it for 3 hours and then logging out? It seems that is the path that EA and DICE have chosen for Battlefield going forward. And it's very unfortunate. But hey, I guess gameplay-wise, if we can pick a map and the other things, it's gonna be fine. But as a community, yeah, we will lose a major part. I'm done. I'm done with this video, guys. If you enjoyed watching this video, then leave a like and a sub. If you're new here, I post 2 to 3 Battlefield videos a week. Gonna do even more when the new game is out. So if that's something you enjoy, consider subbing. And you guys who always watch my videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Take it easy. Bye-bye.